All right, we got Teresa. Hi, Teresa. You're on mute, but you might be driving, but it's okay if you're listening in. So Dahlia, Teresa,
I'm
Michelle,
here. I'm
Melvin,
here.
Angie. Yes,
Sorry. I just stepped away and got back.
no worries. So we're live streaming, so we have it recorded. And for those that are watching online, really wanted to continue to create duplication, explaining what co-sponsorship, the power of it, and really understanding the RevShare 2.0. I know many of you guys understand. Dogma is still learning the ropes of everything EXP still. Angie as well. Melvin is also learning as well. So, what does the word co-sponsoring sound to you? What does that mean?
That you're sponsoring someone with somebody else.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what it means. And EXP was able to create a formula to make it a win-win situation for the co-sponsor and the person that is bringing on somebody. Um, so Michelle is in a different organization. She was brought over by her brother. Her brother was brought in by somebody in Seattle. We met Mason. I actually met Michelle first. She saw me because I was carrying the Hong Kong flag for EXP at one point. So we connected, and we've always wanted to try to figure out how to align together, right? And the only way back then was people leaving the organization and coming back for 6 months, leaving 6 months and then coming back. We didn't want that because that's not, we don't want people to lose their stocks and rev share if they have people already under them. So EXP finally came out with, what we call co-sponsoring. So now if Michelle has somebody in Dallas or vice versa, I have somebody in San Diego. Well, if I don't know anyone else in EXP and I know Michelle's building up her team and she has a brick and mortar or anything she's supporting in that market, I can call Michelle up like, hey, Michelle, I got John coming in. Would you mind co-sponsoring this agent together with me? Right. And that's the alignment. It's a business solution to support John in that market. Dahlia, your family has people in Peru. Could we find, I mean, Eric's a great guy, so he's a leader, which is good. I'm glad that you brought a broker in. But maybe if Eric wasn't a broker and he was just an agent, well, he could be kind of like one off and doesn't know what to do, right? So we could work with Ricardo in Peru and co-sponsor that agent, right? So that's a solution for really on outside of your local area. It was really created for, Angie's out in Orlando. Her and Heidi are out there, but we have to find mentors locally. But in the future, Angie could bring on a leader for her, for her future agent that she's bringing on, and she can find Veronica Figueroa is on there. Veronica has about, I think, 2,500 agents. Is that somebody that fits alignment with her? She can interview them, right? So, and it's not just that one off. Like you can have multiple layers of this. John Sai was on a call earlier today, and like we go down 7 levels. So say Dahlia, you're my tier 7. And if you're starting to grow people under you, well, that's my tier 8. Guess what? I don't get any rev share. I'm still support you because you're in my organization, right? But there's nothing I can do. But now, guess what? You could actually work with me to build on that level 7. I can co-sponsor that person with you, So if you were my level 7. But the thing is, so it basically continues on the levels down past your level 7. That
So you would still get, so you get part of their share, but whoever's under me, I would still get theirs too. Like
Yeah.
everybody kind of benefits.
Yeah. So let me kind of show you a chart that I created because a lot of people are visual and I'm a visual person. So let's pull this up. All right. So Dahlia, say you are the primary sponsor. And let's put Teresa. She's on the call. So Teresa, because you're needing a Mandarin speaking agent to support your Mandarin team because you don't speak. Do you speak Mandarin, Dahlia? Not really, right? Yeah.
No, not even Cantonese,
Okay. So just say you had an agent that
Spanish.
really needed a stronger speaking, Chinese speaking leader. Okay. Let's call Teresa. Hey, Teresa, would you mind co-sponsoring John with me? And if all three are in agreement, we have a co-sponsorship opportunity. So you're the primary sponsor, Teresa's the co-sponsor. John becomes your tier two because you're basically replacing that tier one with Teresa coming in. That's what we call a buffer. You're not going to get rev share from Teresa. You're adding her into your organization to create a new line. John is your tier two. John is tier one to Teresa. So Teresa gets tier one rev share. You get tier two rev share. When John brings on Sally, Sally is your tier three. Sally is tier two to Teresa, and so on. Okay. And when I talk about tier seven, if you ever have a tier seven and because you're supporting and they want you to support them for the beyond that, you could co-sponsor your tier eight because you're not getting rev share anyway. So financially the company is not losing out, right? And when they did this, the company still doesn't lose out, right? They're whatever the 50% payout is still 50%. But as the primary, the money goes up the upline leaders that you're a part of. So if Teresa was not in part of We Partners, is a different group, it would not go up to our uplines. But in this case, because we are all part of We Partners, it would still go up to your mom and then and it'll skip to and then go back to me, right? So and that's the beauty. So you guys within We Partners can work together if you needed the added support. You don't have to, but the power of this is really finding strong leaders to help together. Not just like taking these leaders' resources, right? That's not the goal. The goal is to align with to help each other out. Because if you have a co-sponsor coming in, you also have a responsibility to work with this co-sponsor to support this team member. It's not just like, oh, hand it off and just leverage everyone. That's not the goal, right? The goal is also to provide to the table. And that's why it's important as a new agent like yourself, Delia, whatever you're learning, pass it down to John, pass it down to the co-sponsor. Like, hey, these are the things that I'm missing, or if you have any good ideas, share it with your with that co-sponsor or their team members in their organization. So that's the beauty of the co-sponsorship. So I have an example. I have Maritza that's coming in, and I've connected her with Orlando Montiel. Orlando has about 2,200 agents, predominantly Hispanic speaking. He has a coaching platform. He does like 3 Zoom calls per week, and there's like 700 people on that. Orlando is a great guy, great coach. His mindset is really focusing on a lot of marketing, right? So if agents need more marketing, this is something that's great for them as well. Something that I've connected with Aaron. Aaron was brought in by Lucia because Aaron came in March. He's qualified to be having a co-sponsor. So I've already connected with Paul Frank. Paul Frank's he's our number 2 EXP commercial producer in the whole company. So I'm adding him as a co-sponsor because Paul does 2 coaching calls a week for his downline, and now Aaron is part of that, right? So that's going to add value to Aaron. Also is going to help Lucia with growth because Paul is also about growth. So this aligns really well. Let me see what else was there. I think that was it on the co-sponsoring. So if anyone has questions, I wanted to make it a dialogue. If you want to understand rev share, I do have a rev share chart. You're welcome to take a picture of this. I created that so you guys understand it. It's math. It doesn't change, right? The only thing that changes is if the agent caps or not. If they're not doing a lot of production, you're not going to get a lot of rev share. So that's really the main thing. These percentages don't change. So and if you're a capping agent or a top producer like an Icon, you unlock certain tiers. But tiers 1, 2, and 3 is plenty to understand this model, and anybody can do this. So, we got Mason. What's up, Mason? You're on mute.
Hey, I'm just wanted to join in. You sent that text. I'm in Whistler, Canada right now, so
Okay,
I
perfect.
just drove up here,
Yep. So
coming in to listen
you
in,
know John
and
Tsai in Vancouver. You're just neighbors from Seattle to Vancouver.
that's right.
You have the opportunity to co-sponsor with John Tsai for your
Yeah.
team members in Vancouver, and he's excited for that. Cesar Cepeda, he just brought in his daughter to be co-sponsored by Tina Call. And, you can't get selfish how things operate, right? And I told Cesar, whatever, because he asked me a question, should Tina be the primary or should Cesar be the primary? Selfishly, I would say, oh yeah, Cesar be the primary, so the rev share comes up to me. But I said no. If Tina can offer, because she's in North Carolina, Caesar's in McAllen, the daughter's in McAllen, San Antonio, McAllen, and Tina asked a couple questions. You're welcome to be co-sponsored by Tina, or if you want Cow Whistle and Dan Beer and the fast forward movement, all their stuff, then it'd be more aligned with being Tina as the primary. So I gave Cesar that choice. I said, if you feel like your daughter needs that stuff and you can learn from it, then make Tina the primary, and that's what they did. So Tina is the primary sponsor. Cesar, being the father, is actually the co-sponsor for his daughter. Do I make any rev share off the daughter? No. One thing is Cesar found us on LinkedIn. I have, if I personally brought Cesar in, and I'm like, of course I would like, hey Cesar, we brought you in. This is kind of the alignment. But even if that was the case, the main thing is what is the right thing for your daughter. What is the right thing for the agent. So, and the thing is, I can still work with Tina on other people. So it doesn't matter, right? So the main thing is you guys, Kenya, Sunny, Michelle, Angie, Melvin, Dahlia, we all can do this. So I want you to start thinking about all these superheroes. That's what I call these EXP agents, these leaders, the Avengers. You're building up your Avenger team. Or if you play, I guess, football or like the fantasy football, you're basically building out your team. And you can build out your organization, all over. Globally too. Like I know the Dubai broker, Dunia, and I would love for her to co-sponsor my Dubai team in the future, as I connect with people. So like Mason and I can finally actually be co-sponsors. So if Mason does stuff on social media and targets in Dallas, guess what? He can call me like, hey, Daniel, I got this guy, Andrew, connected on social media. He wants a local support in Dallas. And of course, Mason is in Seattle, isn't able to give him that culture, but he knows that I'm able to give him to him. It doesn't have to be me. He can find somebody else also in Dallas too, that he's connected with. But the main thing is he has the opportunity to support that agent through the co-sponsorship program. So Sonny's brought in other people and sometimes it's new agents. Well, Sonny's a commercial guy. He doesn't know anything about Trek Forms or MLS. So it's hard for him to kind of support that. Sonny's sponsor is Judy Ratsamy, which is commercial. Judy doesn't do MLS. Guess what? Judy was sponsored by me. I don't do MLS. I was sponsored by Jim. He doesn't do MLS. He's not even in Dallas. So it's really hard for Sonny to get that support on that residential side. Guess what? Now he can find a residential leader to support those agents that he brings on if they need that, right? He can, of course, go after commercial people, anyone. So, anyone have any questions?
This is almost off topic, but do you think that they'll get rid of the mentor program at all if we're doing if you have a co-sponsor?
The co-sponsor could be your mentor. Yes, it could be. But it depending on where, if they're in that market. So if you had a co-sponsor that is in the same market that is certified, they could be that mentor as well, or you can join their team, or that agent would join their team. So there's options there.
Right, I mean,
Yes.
so my understanding about the mentor program is required or mandated by states. And in Texas, it's required by track that if you're a newly licensed agent, you have to go through a mentor program. And that's why the EXP has that. All the brokers has to have that. So I don't think this co-sponsorship has anything to do with the mentor program. It's just that,
So you can, so the bypass mentor program, they can join your team. So like
Right.
Teresa has a team, so
right,
that agent could join, if Teresa was the co-sponsor, they could join that team and bypass the mentorship program.
right. So if you want to bypass that, you have to go through like a team.
Correct. So either you join a team, which you're playing team splits, right? Or you just finish up the mentorship program, 3 sales, and you graduate.
Right.
Versus a team, you might be staying there, and there might be costs if you leave early because of whatever leads or expenses and things like that. So every team is structured differently.
Daniel, I just want to make sure that I understand. In We Partners, for those of for us that we belong to ePartners, we cannot co-sponsor. Is that correct? Because
No,
we're
you
in the
can't.
same- We
You
can.
can't. So you are sponsored by Calvin. So
Hmm.
you don't need to be co-sponsor. You don't need Calvin as a coach because he gets your downline. But if you and Teresa, say you have a Chinese agent, I'm just gonna pick on the Chinese people today.
Sure.
But if you had a Chinese agent and you don't know how to support that person, you can call Teresa up. And so Teresa would be the co-sponsor for this agent that you're bringing on.
Well, in this case, regardless who's the main sponsor, it will go up because we
Correct.
belong.
So yes, so just I cannot co-sponsor with you guys because you guys are in my organization, except Mason and Michelle, they're not, right? But the rest of you guys are in the organization, but you guys can cross each other.
Yes.
Yeah. As long as the upline and downline are not in the same line, the 7 levels, then you can go sideways, which is nice because Calvin brought in a agent that's Chinese speaking that needs more help on the residential side. And I mentioned like maybe Teresa would be a good co-sponsor because Teresa's meeting her agents every week, right, at the office, and she does her training. She has her WeChat group that she's keeping everyone accountable. I said she'll be a great co-sponsor. Not saying that the other agents wouldn't either, but the thing is, whoever shows up, the thing is, people who show up is going to be like, that's why I'm choosing these other people, because I see them and they respond back to me. Just like you chose Tina because Tina she just responded back to you. The other groups didn't respond back to you, not all of them, right? And Elizabeth Riley, she responded back to you, right? So you would have somebody in Austin, should be an awesome co-sponsor, And I'm excited to work with Elizabeth because I got 3 top producer ladies that I know that would align with her, just what she does, and this is just going to help with growth overall with the company. Yeah, I just don't see anything negative in a sense. I just wish they had this 15 years ago, but of course, things had to make sense. They had to figure it out. But the company's been agile. 4 years in this company, it's changed so many things constantly. So
Grow and retention. I just accepted a mentee who was desperate because he was sponsored by someone who never paid attention to him. According to him, he never received anything, so he was desperate. He was ready to throw the towel, and it happens. I think a sponsorship will be similar, like mentorship. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a responsibility, right? We're getting rep share from someone. Well, let's take care of
I agree.
business.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why you got to find people that's going to add value together, and at the same time, you want to get value back, right? So the main thing for duplication for the organization. So how do I get we partners from 270 to 10,000? It's duplication. You know, Caesar, you're contacting leaders right away. You came to Cabo. Teresa, same thing. Came to Cabo. Angie, I know you're new in the industry, but I know that you're making those connections. You know, Mason's growing his team as well. Kenya's still learning commercial, so but at the same time, she has the influence to build that. Delia's same way. She's already connected with me, an agent that I'm gonna try to set up a week meeting this week or next week. And then her mom is the one who brought in Peru. I mean, and then your mom just texted me that there's another agent coming in from Peru, so I'll have 4 people in Peru. So just imagine that one leg will be 1,000 people. Who knows, right? And yeah, so that's the beauty. And you know, as we do these calls, I want you guys to break down the math. I want you to write it. I want you to learn how to write it on your board, right? Because the more you write it down, then you understand the math. You understand how everything works, and the more you know about it, it's for your own benefit. It's not for me, right? It's for you. So, if we want to do like, you know, another Zoom call where you want to actually put on digitally, just draw it out for us, so we can help you. You know, we can get off the live stream and, you know, do that, so you guys have the repetition, because it's important. So, okay. Any other questions? Mason, did you see my chart for co-sponsorship? He's in Whistler. And you know, Michelle connected with me with other agents around the country before. And you know, I've always helped people explain the model. I mean, that's just me. And now, you know, Michelle and I can go back to those people we talked to 2-3 years ago and see how they're doing. And then that's the opportunity. And I may not be the co-sponsor, but guess what? Because I've connected, I can help Michelle build a team in Idaho. She connected with, I think, in Kansas or Ohio. We can go find a local leader in that market, right? And guess what? When she brings on that leader in that market, guess what? I get a new friend. And then when I do have a person that we connect in that market, I got a friend that I already know how to connect with. So there's just so much opportunity with this. And, you know, the more people we meet, the more opportunity there are. So just continue to plug in and, you know, just know that you're in a great platform. And, you know, at the same time, if you're learning production, go. There's plenty of production training. There's plenty of that. You got to build your foundation in sales. Like in real estate, I mean, you can't learn that by just, you know, watching a video here and there. You have to go out there. Like Angie's going out there, you know, working on the lead, sharing that, you know, she only had 1 or 2 people at the open house, and then she's about to leave, and then there's a couple people that came in. Now she got some leads. You know, Dahlia, I know you have a full-time job as a teacher, but at the same time, don't give up. Build your foundation. It'll come. You know, I was talking to another lady, Jasmine. She's like getting a little discouraged. Like, it takes time. This business is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, which everyone is trying to do it, but not everyone does make it. So just continue to build your foundation. Ask me questions. Set up a call with me anytime. You know, I'm here. And I'm excited. So I hope my energy transpires through the screen somehow. I know Caesar's fired. You know, he's texting me all the time. So I'm glad that he's plugging in. And he's, you know what? He's just calling he went to Brent Gove. He called Rob Flick. I mean, and then he goes, well, these people don't respond. Like, they got 20,000 people. But some of them actually do respond. And, you know, I'm glad that you stay persistent and stuff like that. I know Mason has to go. But the main thing is, you know, stay plugged in and it's going to be a great year. All right.